are back. Yeah, it's Tuesday, the week's moving along, 2020 again. And also what's going on right now is CES. Guys, there's a lot of really cool announcements coming out this week from Canon, Nikon. The folks over at Insta360 just unleashed the new kind of action camera. But if you are a Canon shooter, or, well, guys, any kind of shooter, really you've got to be excited about the new 1DX Mark III. This bad boy was just announced at the CES show, and guys, it looks absolutely incredible. You'd expect this camera to blow your mind, given that its price will set you back $6,500 for the body only. Plus, Canon has had it for 4 years since the release of the 1DX Mark II, so they've had plenty of time to develop new features that will make this one of the most powerful cameras available. So if you stick around until the end of this video, you'll get all the scoop, everything you need to know about the 1DX Mark III, the specs, the features, the release date, and more. Let's start off with talking about the 1DX Mark III specs. Guys, this camera represents a significant upgrade over its predecessor. It comes with an upgraded sensor, new imaging processor, an all-new autofocus system, and updated controls. So let's get down in the nitty-gritty and have a look of what the essential specs are of this camera. You're looking at a 20.1 megapixel full-frame sensor with dual pixel autofocus. Now guys, this sensor is similar to the 20.2 megapixel sensor that the 1DX Mark II had, but this has a dual pixel autofocus and new low-pass filters, so you get much sharper images. You have DigX X processor, which is 3.1 times faster than the dual DigX 6 Plus processors in the 1DX Mark II. Has a 191-point viewfinder autofocus system with 155 cross-type points, which uses its own DigX X processor and has face and head detection with a sensitivity of -4 eV. Live view autofocus system has 90% horizontal coverage and 100% vertical coverage. It also has sensitivity to -6 eV and has enhanced eye detection, 3,869 autofocus positions with 525 automatic areas when shooting in live view. Now this camera has what's called deep learning autofocus, which uses a database of images to create an algorithm that allows the camera to better understand how humans move. In other words, the camera can tell if there's a human in the shot, even if their face is not visible. Without relying on face tracking, the 1DX Mark III can more accurately keep moving subjects centered in the frame. It has 16 frames per shooting burst shooting through the viewfinder, 20 frames per second burst shooting in live view. Eye autofocus is active whether using viewfinder or the live view. New mirror mechanics that reduce the vibration and blackout. You have dual CF Express card slots, which basically gives you unlimited buffer in many shooting situations. Native ISO from 100 to 102,400, which is expandable to 50 to 809,200. 5.5K internal video recording at 60p with 12-bit raw video. You're also looking at 4K at 60p, 10-bit, but the dual pixel autofocus is only available at up to 5.5K at 30p, 4K cropped at 60p, or 4K at 30p. 2.1 million dot fixed touchscreen LCD. Shutter is rated to 500,000 shots. Now, in addition to all the goodies I just listed here, the 1DX Mark III has typical things you'd expect to find, like Wi-Fi, GPS, and Bluetooth. There's also a built-in gigabit Ethernet port, illuminated buttons, and touch autofocus. Likewise, Canon has incorporated what they call a AF Smart Controller. Canon has embedded sensors in the two AF on buttons on the camera body, so as you drag your finger across the buttons, you can change the autofocus points. Basically, they work like touchpads that give you pinpoint precision over the autofocus point, whether you're shooting in live view or with the viewfinder. And since there's two of these buttons, you have one for shooting horizontal and another for when shooting vertical. You can reap the benefits of this feature no matter which way you need to hold the camera. There are a lot of little upgrades in features and bells and whistles, but guys, this just covers the major stuff. What the 1DX doesn't have. You might have noticed that this camera does not have, there's no IBIS. A lot of rumors peg this camera as having IBIS. There were even some rumors that said it would have at least 5 stops of stabilization. For whatever reason, it just didn't happen. Who knows? Maybe Canon is working on an IBIS system for the mirrorless line and didn't have time to hammer it out on this camera. Whatever the case, I think the lack of IBIS is a bit of an oversight. Granted, this camera is aimed squarely at sports photographers that will have their cameras mainly on tripods, monopods most of the time, but still, IBIS should be a feature on a high-end professional camera at this point. Guys, don't you think? Leave a comment down below. Okay, let's talk about the release date. Based on Canon's announcement at CES, this camera will be expected to hit the shelves in stores mid-February. So those of you that can't wait to get your hands on one of these, well, you won't have to wait long. As mentioned earlier, this rig will set you back $6,500. So this isn't exactly a camera for the masses, but it's not supposed to be a camera for everyone either. For sports photographers in particular, this might be the most powerful and capable camera available. I can also see a lot of wedding photographers picking up one of these things. It's obviously a fantastic still camera, but wedding photographers will benefit from the major upgrades in the video capabilities as well. While this camera is extremely expensive, for the folks that just need a huge burst shooting speeds, incredible autofocus capabilities, superb image quality, and built like a take camera body, guys, this camera is definitely it. And with a shutter that's rated to 500,000 cycles, it should be something that gives this owner years and years of service. With that, you got a quick introduction to the Canon's new professional workhorse. Let me know what you think of this camera, what features you're most impressed with, and what you wish Canon would have added to the camera. If you found this video to be helpful, hit the like button down below. If you're currently not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. While you're at it, hit the bell to be notified, my friend, as we come out with new videos. So with that said, you get out there and take your best shot.